What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we're looking at the brand new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Ghost and Alex Mason figures by Jazwares. So this is the new license that Jazwares is doing. I talked about this before around San Diego Comic-Con when they revealed their other Ghost figure, which wasn't exclusive. I was pretty mixed on that figure when it was first shown off. I just thought it looked weird, but I wanted to give these a try anyway because I really do like their other figures, like, you know, their AEW wrestlers, the Halo and Fortnite figures. So I'm curious on how well these are compared to those, but also because I do like Call of Duty as well, so I wanted to try out the figures and see if they were just as good as the McFarlane ones at the time. So let's look at the packaging real quick. So we do get an open window of Ghost and Alex, of like all their accessories here. The side just has the Call of Duty logo, and then at the bottom it just says like Ghost with accessories, but he has like the Modern Warfare 2 logo here, and then Alex just got the Call of Duty Warzone logo right there. So that's pretty much that. The top, really just nothing there, but there is like a design going around the packaging, as you can see. Nothing going on with the bottom, and then the other side we just get some render shots of the figures, Call of Duty logo up there, and then their names down there, and then the back we just get another shot right here, and then basically a list of the accessories that they come with, really. And that's pretty much the packaging right there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack these out of the box and take a closer look. Okay, so the first figure we're going to be looking at here is Simon. Yeah, this figure looks pretty rough, man. These figures look pretty bad, honestly. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I think the biggest drawback here on these guys is probably the proportions, especially on, actually, you know what, I'm gonna say on both of them. The proportions on both of these guys just doesn't look that great. But I feel like for Simon, it's so weird, honestly. Like, for me, it's like I feel like the head's just like small, the shoulders look too low. He has an interchangeable hand that's like really tiny compared to the the other hands that he has here. The legs, the way how they're like sculpted, they look odd because they're kind of like curved like this, and then they're out. I know they're like baggy pants, but I don't know, they just look so weird, especially like compared to like Mason, how his legs is like straight. Like his is still baggy a little bit, but they're like straight. But like for Simon, they're kind of like outwards in a way. I don't know, it just looks very odd. And the feet, I feel like the shoes look a little small too, and they're kind of thin. It's a little hard to stand this guy at times. You kind of have to do that thing where you have to like bend, like, you know, bend the figure a little bit forward sometimes, and like put the legs a little bit out. But I don't know, I'm not really feeling as much. This is kind of loose too. The ball hinge that's here, you can see it's like really loose. So yeah, not really off to a great start here. But let's focus here on just the head sculpt right here. So the paint job for the mask, it looks okay. I feel like the eye right here, it's a little hard to see, but I can't tell if it's misprinted because it looks like he's looking this way, and then this eye is looking here. I don't know, it just looks really weird. Like this eye looks like it's looking, or it's like, maybe it's like, I don't know, it's so odd. Like this eye doesn't look as open as this one is, so I'm not sure what's really going on. But the head sculpt looks okay. It could have been better. This headset around him, I believe this is actually on the figure. It looks like it's like pegged to the side, but the top part definitely looks like it's like sculpted onto the figure. So this is actually going to be on the figure. This cloth piece, it's pretty cool. I don't really know what you would really call this. There's a hood right here, which you can actually put it on him. Well, oops, I just took it off this time. Yeah, as you can see, like the hood, it looks okay, but it's gonna just be a little like out, but it doesn't look too bad. But I mean, he doesn't really like wear it like that anyway. But yeah, this is removable if you were concerned about that. So, you know, you can take this thing off if you want. I would say he doesn't look too bad without the hood, but when you put it on, it just kind of makes his head a little too small. I don't know, but I don't know, maybe that's just me, honestly. But yeah, you have that, and then of course you have like the tactical vest right here, which I feel like it looks a little too big, but like, you know, there's like some, you know, some holsters that you can add in for the other accessories. He got like some grenades around here that you can see here, and then you can see you know, the back right here. And this part's weird because you can see that it is on the figure. It's supposed to give the illusion that it's connected with the vest, but it's kind of weird because even when, like, if I just leave it like this, it doesn't look that great because it doesn't connect here. Or even if I just leave it like this, it still doesn't really like connect on both ends, so that looks kind of weird. The pants, he has like this sort of rope thing going on here. I'm not too sure what these are, honestly. I don't really pay too much of what these guys have on, but you know, you have that, and then, you know, the legs, the knee pads right there, and then the boots right there that I already went over. So pretty much that. And then I do like how the tattoos, they're actually like painted, you know, in the articulation right here, which is cool. I think the tattoos are fine. You know, they don't do too bad with the tattoos. You know, same thing with like the AEW figures. You know, the tattoos are pretty cool, even though sometimes they can be pretty like inconsistent with them. So for the articulation, there's not really gonna be any tilts with this guy for the head. You're really just gonna be getting a rotation out of that. So that's pretty much all there really is. For the shoulders, they go up just about here. There are butterfly joints, but they're kind of useless. They don't really, you know, there's not like a whole lot of range you can really get with the butterfly joints. You do get bicep swivel. There is your double jointed elbows, which only goes just about here, unless I can't really or is it single jointed, honestly? I don't know. It's like a weird elbow joint, honestly. For the wrist, there is rotation, but the wrist hinge is going to be horizontal, so it's not going to be vertical for the weapon, so that's unfortunate. There is a ball peg up here, and then down here it looks like it's really just like a rotation a little bit. It's kind of weird, but this thing is like, hold on, because I feel like, okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this separate piece right here, but you're mainly like rotating this portion, or you're rotating this portion, and then this, well, actually I said that wrong. This part you're really rotating, but then, like, you know, you have the ball peg that moves like this portion right there. So let me see if I can put that there. Yeah, there you go. But mine is like really loose still, unfortunately. But yeah, you know, you can still rotate the top portion, but you can mainly rotate this just a little bit. So you have that. Now for the hips, they are on ball sockets, so he can go out to the side just about here. And then kicking forward, you get just that much. Kicking back, just about there. You do have your upper thigh cut, and then your double jointed pinless knees, which goes back about here. And there is like no shin cut or anything like that, but for the ankles, he can kick forward about there, back not so much. It's not a whole lot of movement you can do because of the pants cuff. Rocker, not so great, but there is a toe hinge. Okay, and now for your accessories. So for your soft goods, we do have this that I showed off earlier. The only reason why it was difficult for me trying to put like the hoodie on him is mainly because like this thing is like attached to it. I guess you could rip this off if you really want to, but just keep in mind this thing is going to be attached to that, which is why it was kind of hard for me to put the hood over his head while this thing was like still on his shoulders. So yeah, you do have that, which is pretty nice. You do have these extra interchangeable hands, so you have another, well, actually, you know what? Okay, so he actually has two trigger holding hands. I thought he had another gripping hand, but both of these are trigger holding hands. So okay, I don't know why I thought one of them was a gripping hand. So you have a gripping hand and then a fisted hand, but you only get one of these though, so that's kind of weird. And for whatever reason, the fisted hand is like the smallest one. Like, look at it compared to the gripping hand right here. I know it's like, you know, it looks like a little small because his hand, you know, they're like balled up here, but like even then it looks really small next to just the gripping hand right here. Like, I don't know, it just looks really small. Even show off this, like, yeah, it just looks really tiny. But you only get one set of those right there. So we do have that. You do have a pistol right here, which is, unfortunately, it's warped. So, you know, you have that. So you have a pistol, and then you have the radio. So it's actually, you know, the scope on this is pretty nice. I think this is actually okay. But you do have the radio. You do have this assault rifle right here, which, hold on, let me look at the package. What they called it again? The M4A1 assault rifle. That's what they call it. So you have this, and then the mag is removable, so you can mess around with that. They also give you an extra one, which I'm assuming you can probably put these on the holster of Simon right here. And then these are the only accessories. So I don't know where really. I'm guessing like maybe you can put the magazine like right here, and then the radio. I guess you can. Yeah. I think this is probably how it is. It looks like they fit pretty well. And then the pistol, there's a hole right here. I'm guessing the pistol goes there, but it just doesn't look, I don't know, it just doesn't really look right. It just looks like it's out of place, but I can't really think of what else would really go there. And he doesn't really have a holster on his waist, so I'm assuming this is how it is really. Alright, next up is going to be Alex, and again, like I said, he looks just as bad as Simon really. The head sculpt just doesn't look like Alex. I'm not seeing Alex in his head sculpt. The neck is really short on this guy. The shoulders is like low for whatever reason, and for whatever reason this shoulder is higher than this one, which, yeah, I don't know, this shoulder is higher than that. So you have that. There are some pouches. This one you can actually move, like there's like a tab that you can do. I'm guessing something goes here. It might be the magazine maybe for his M16. You might be able to throw that in there. I can't even, wow, I can't even put that back. Well, that sucks. I can't even put that back. Anyway, so you have that, and then you know, these are actually on the figure, so you're not going to be able to like take these off really. You do have the tactical belt, which is kind of odd because it's like glued to the front and in the back, but to the side, like you can see how it's not really on the figure. It's like sliding off, and it is part of this torso. It's not like part of the belt. So that's, I mean, it's okay. It's just that it's kind of weird in a way, especially when you move the torso around. But I don't know, it's just that it's not really on like this part of the figure, which is weird. Same thing with the head. You're not really going to get any tilts at all. You're really just going to be getting a full rotation out of this, even though his head's weird. He doesn't, I don't know, it's weird because it gets stuck. You see how like when I turn it, it just gets stuck a little bit. So yeah, you have that, so you can't really like look up or down or whatever. For the shoulders, there's, it shifts, but I don't really think he really has any butterfly joints as Simon does, unfortunately. But hinge to the shoulder, it just goes up about here. Of course you, man, I can't even put the shoulder back down. Of course you have your full rotation, you have your bicep swivel, and then your double jointed pinless elbows. I can't even get that other joint right there. Let me try this arm right, let me see. Yeah, I can't get that other joint back there. But you do have your double jointed pinless elbows there. Wrist articulation, and then they are on a vertical, or I'm sorry, they're on a horizontal hinge. They're not vertical. So yeah, you have that. Torso is very, yeah, it's pretty much the same way. His isn't as loose as Simon is. So you know, you do have like your tilts going on there, and well, there you go. I was trying to like see how the figure can bend forward, but it looks like, I mean, it only goes there without popping it off, and then back just about there. But he does have a better rotation than Simon. Now for the hips, out to the side just about here, kicking forward you get about there, and then back. Yeah, so the hips on Simon, I'm sorry, the hips on Alex is a lot better. You do have your upper thigh cut, double jointed pinless elbows. Jeez, I cannot talk today. Double jointed pinless knees, back about there. There is no boot rotation, and then the ankles, they go forward about there, back just about there, and then you have your toe hinge, and yeah, and then your ankle rocker. So yeah, the articulation works a little bit better on Alex. Now for the accessories, if I can try to get this guy to stand, this gripping hand, and honestly, they're both like gripping hands, but I'm guessing one is to hold the other end of the assault rifle or the M16, and then this one's probably for the combat knife. I'm assuming. I don't know really. I'm not too sure. You do have a pistol, which is warped, so you have that, and then you have the combat knife, which is also warped. So you have that, and then you have the M16, which is also warped as well. Like, I don't know how these accessories became warped. Like, this one is like sticking up, which is odd, and it looks really cheap too. So you have that, but at least the magazine is removable. And in the same way, you do get an extra magazine as well. Look, he's about to fall forward, and I'm assuming you can probably put this magazine here. Let me see if I can try to do that. Yeah, it actually fits on there, but this tab doesn't want to go back in place. Even without the magazine, I just couldn't. Oh wait, oh yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't want to stay there, so I don't know. And then of course the gun, you have the holster here, so you can put that there, and there's a hole right here. I'm assuming it's got to be for the combat knife. I mean, there's nothing else, so I guess that just goes there. So I mean, at least he has holsters for his other stuff, really, and they look a little bit better, but nothing for like the the assault rifles though. So the assault rifles are really just gonna have in their hands. They don't really have anything to like peg this anywhere else. So alright, and now for some figure comparisons. So we have both of these two next to each other, and I have him a little hunched forward because again, he has a hard time standing, so he's not as straightened as Alex is, which is why he looks a little short. But I do have him a little hunched forward in order to have him stand properly, and again, the legs are just a pain on this figure too. But yeah, this is how these two look. Now for another comparison, I want to compare them to some other Jazwares figures. So we have the Halo 2 Master Chief figure, and then we have the AEW Supreme Malachi Black figure. So these guys are definitely a lot taller than the Call of Duty figures. If you want to see how that looks, I'm trying to get Malachi to stand right here. But yeah, these guys are going to be taller. So if you're thinking about doing some crossover between these two, just know that Master Chief is going to be a lot taller than these guys. So just keep that in mind. So let me just take these out. Next one I want to compare them with here is a Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure. This is the MCU Spider-Man that came in that 3-pack, and then we have the G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter figure right here, and Sergeant Slaughter is going to tower over these guys. I mean, Sergeant Slaughter's a big guy, so this is okay. And then one more comparison I want to do. I unfortunately don't have the McFarlane Call of Duty figures anymore. I only had like 2 of them, but I wanted to try out the Apex Legends Revenant figure by Jack Specific, and they scale pretty well too if you wanted to do a crossover between here. So yeah, the Apex Legends figures do work. Alright, so that is going to wrap up this review on the Jazwares Call of Duty Ghost and Alex Mason figures. Not a fan of these at all, honestly. Proportions are really off, figures look really cheap, they can't seem to hold the guns with both hands that well, and the joints are really loose too. Oh yeah, and the head sculpts are abysmal, man. Just like terrible, honestly. So yeah, not the greatest really. Definitely could have been a whole lot better, especially when you compare it to their other lines of figures. But these two right here, I'm not really feeling in the slightest, honestly. So if you guys want to pick these up, they are currently available on Amazon. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know your thoughts on these figures in the comments down below. But until then, take care, my friends.